The start of 2022 has already shown us that there can be some times of uncertainty that then impacts finances. And that also may vary depending on your household. Like for us, we are having another baby here in a few months. So we are making some changes to our budget and our financial goals to reflect that. So today I'm sharing our April 2022 budget with me. Hey guys, I'm Marissa and welcome back to my channel. Here on my channel we talk about life and money and how you can enjoy life while still accomplishing financial goals through the use of a budget. So if that sounds like something interesting to you, scroll down and hit that subscribe button so you won't miss any new videos. Today I'm sharing with you our April 2022 household budget, showing you the actual numbers, all the income we're bringing in, and how we plan to allocate and spend every dollar in our budget. But before we get into it, I want to let you know that the budget template I'm using is one that you can get yourself as an instant download on my shop. I will have a link to that down below in the description and you can check that out. But also, if you are new to budgeting and you're wanting to get started and learn how to budget to be able to work on your financial goals, then I have a course called the Budget Breakdown course, which walks you through everything you need to know about budgeting, like setting up your budget, customizing it, and using it to maximize those financial goals that you have. So if you want to check out that course, it's only $37. It's super cheap, and you also get this budget template download as a freebie in the course. So if you want to check it out, I'll have a link to it down below, and it's a fantastic place to start if you are wanting to get started with budgeting. So without further ado, let's hop into this budget with me. The first thing that we have here is our income. So we have Jacob's income. My husband Jacob works in marketing and he works for an employer. And then we have my income, which is everything that I do here online. And I just have both of our income blocked out for privacy. But our total household income this month is set to be $8,080. So we use a zero-based budget, which means all of our income equals all of our money out, which includes expenses, debt, and savings. So every dollar gets a place, every dollar has a name. So now to show you where we plan to spend every dollar in our budget. First, we have our expenses here. We have our tithe. We are Christians and we believe in giving to our church and other organizations. And so we give to our church. Here's our tithe. And then African New Life, we support 2 children in Rwanda through African New Life. And then we support an additional missions organization. And I just have all 3 of those blocked out also for privacy. Next we have is our mortgage. So we are homeowners. We live in the Portland, Oregon area. We own our home here. And this month, if you've been following along with my budget update videos, you may notice that this amount actually went down. So our mortgage is $2,206.28. This is made up of the principal and interest on our loan, as well as taxes and insurance that go through escrow. So the reason why this actually went down, like, I don't know, what was it? Like $15, I think, is because property taxes ended up being a little bit lower than expected with escrow last year. So they're actually now withholding less from us because property taxes weren't as much. So just a little bit lower for our mortgage payment, which I feel like is really rare. I've always expected this number to go up because property taxes typically go up, but ours actually went down a little bit last year. So $2,206.28 for our standard mortgage payment for the remainder of the year. Next we have is our HOA. We live in a homeowners association with an HOA, and I'm totally fine with that. So we pay $121.46. Next we have is water and sewer. This is always around $95-ish. So I just copied over what we had from previous months. And then natural gas, I expect this to be maybe $50, and this is what we use to heat our home. Our heat's natural gas, our cooking is natural gas, and those kinds of things. Next we have trash. We pay trash every other month, and April is a trash month, so $58.72. Then we have electric, and this may be close to like $70 as we are now getting into more like spring time weather. Hopefully these utilities will go down because we don't need to heat our home as much, and we also don't need to have lights on as much because it's lighter for longer, which I love. So I'm just gonna budget $70 there, which is kind of high, but maybe it'll be less. Next we have is internet at $44.99 each month. And then we have our phones. Actually, this needs to be $115 is now updated. So that's for mine and Jacob's cell phones are at $115. Then we have insurance. This is car insurance on both of our cars, our 2018 Highlander and our 2013 RAV4, $109.64. And then we have life insurance at $52.89 for life insurance policy on myself and my husband Jacob. Then we have groceries at $3.50, and this is actually lower than what we would spend, but I have had this more at like the $500 range. We are a household of 3 right now. We have my husband and myself, and then our son Peter, who is almost 2, which is crazy. And then I'm pregnant and due with another baby boy in June. So this would be closer to like 500 for groceries, because we've definitely seen this go up with inflation. Holy cow, definitely gone up with inflation. But we actually recently started doing HelloFresh, and we've really enjoyed that service of meal kit delivery. We've been able to learn how to cook more, and we've been eating a better variety of foods. We've been eating healthier, and I just think all around it's been a good option for us. And I did a cost breakdown. If you want to check it out, I'll leave a link to that video up above. But I did a breakdown about like, is it worth it? And I personally feel like it is. And I know that it has like a little bit more of a cost. Like, yeah, we are paying probably a little bit more than we would be of just buying these ingredients at the store, but honestly, it's not by a whole lot. So we just really enjoy it right now. So we are doing HelloFresh. We do 3 meals a week with HelloFresh, and then I try and do really simple meals for our other meals to kind of cut down on that meal cost for the remainder of the week. And that seemed to work really well for us. But all that to say, this would typically be like $500, but I have been sharing about HelloFresh like here on my channel. So full disclosure, I have a link down below for a referral link, and it gets you $120 off if you want to try out HelloFresh, which you can cancel or like skip a week at any time. And then in return, I get a $10 credit. So because people have used my link, I now have credits built up that I think that I'll have like the whole month covered for HelloFresh. So I'm just full disclosuring that. But so thank you for those of you who have used my link. And if you want to try out HelloFresh, then you can use my link and get $120 off. I know there's a lot of meal kit subscription companies out there, and a lot of them offer like a discounted trial up front. So get the discounted trial up front for like all these different ones and try them out. But yeah, we have enjoyed HelloFresh, and we are continuing to do that and use those credits. So that's why our grocery bill is lower. So this is just going to be like Costco, like 1 or 2 Costco runs for the month. And then we do like weekly groceries to get like other staple items, you know, milk, other produce, snacks, and then a couple other meals that I'll make during the week. So that's why that is $350. It was a long explanation. But next we have is eating out, and we have $150 budgeted for eating out. And then we have gas. I'm budgeting $175 for gas. Now, I know gas is so crazy right now, and I'm so grateful that we're in the place that we are, because my husband works from home, and then I also work from home, and our gas of spending $175 each month is just us like getting around town to like little places if we want to. Like, we don't have a commute. And I totally feel for you if you are commuting right now and you are having to pay these astronomical gas prices. I know that's really impacting a lot of people's budgets. So I realize that we're really fortunate in that this rise in gas prices isn't affecting us a whole lot. We did used to be spending around like $125, $100, $125, and now it's up to like $175. So that has definitely impacted our budget, but not at all to the extent that it would if we did have full commutes. I remember when Jacob and I both commuted into work before we had Peter, before the pandemic, and we were spending over $200 on gas each month, and that's when gas was like half the price as it is now. So I definitely feel for people who are doing that. Okay, next we have is fun. We budget $50 a month for fun. Hopefully as we get into more of the springtime weather, we can go do more fun things too. And then we have $100 in miscellaneous. You always need something in miscellaneous because there's always something random that comes up. So $100 there. Next we have is our Roth IRA. We're not putting anything to the Roth IRA this month. We have already maxed out Jacob's Roth IRA, which is $6,000 for 2022. And so we just have to put into mine this year. But we have a couple other things that we want to take care of, which I will talk about as we get further into this video. So that's here, but not for this month. Next we have is Peter. We put $50 a month into a brokerage account for our son Peter, and the brokerage account is in our names, but we plan to eventually gift it to Peter to help him with other things in his life, like a down payment on a house or a wedding or his first car, like whatever that may be. And then we are putting $200 a month into his 529 college savings plan, so that gets auto drafted out of our account as well. So this is all of the money that goes out of our account, and that's why it's labeled as expenses, even though some of these things are savings. But it gets taken out of our account, and that is $4,923.83. So now to show you our sinking funds, our savings section of the budget, which is what I kind of hinted to earlier in this video, that uncertainty is impacting. Okay, the first thing that we have here is our emergency fund. So we've been finishing building up our emergency fund back up to $15,000, which is on the lower side of like a 3 to 6 month emergency fund. I think for us that's around like 4 months of necessary expenses. And I've been going so back and forth on this because during this time of high inflation just hit 7.9%. And when you have cash in the bank, it isn't doing anything against inflation when it's at 7.9%. But it's also important to have that sense of security and have cash on hand if you need it. And I obviously do recognize that importance. But there are other things going on right now in the world. I don't have a crystal ball. I can't tell you what the next year will look like for the stock market. But either way, I just want to be more prepared in that regard. And especially as we are about to have another baby in June and I'm planning to take a couple months off for maternity leave, we just want to have that extra bit of security. And I think that that is totally fine if you're ever in a, situation where you don't know what the next season holds for your finances. Having extra cash on hand doesn't hurt. So we are actually going to build up our emergency fund a bit more and put extra to it. So right now, this is where every extra dollar is going for right now to our emergency fund. So $728.08. I'm hoping to maybe get this up to like 20,000. Right now we're at like 15, but getting it up to 20, I feel like would make me feel a lot better. Jacob's job is really secure and we're grateful for that. And hopefully we wouldn't have like any interruptions in that. But we just want to be extra prepared for whatever may come, which is what's nice to have cash on hand for. So this just falls into personal finances, and you need to do what's best for you and your household. And I just feel like for us in this season, the season of outside uncertainty, like we can't control these outside circumstances, right? We can't control what's going on in the world, but we can control like how much we're putting to our emergency fund to some extent, right? And we can control that piece of it. So just finding a bit more security with having extra cash on hand, we feel like is more important to us right now in this season. So that is what we are planning to do. Next we have is personal spending. Jacob gets $250 of personal spending. I get $100. And the reason why this is different is just because Jacob likes to spend more money. And this is just something in our marriage that I would rather just have it accounted for in our budget. If he wants to spend more money and enjoy those things, then great. I just don't feel like I have the desire to. So that's why those numbers are different. And I love that a budget can help you to avoid money fights like that, because Jacob has this set amount that he can spend on like whatever he wants. And then we don't have any fights because we have an understanding of this is what like you're, I don't want to say allowed to spend, but this is what you're allotted to spend. This is what I'm allotted to spend. So, and we've agreed upon that when we set the budget. Okay, next we have is extra giving. We put $50 a month into extra giving. And this allows us to say yes to additional giving opportunities if they come up. And so we love having this sinking fund. The other thing I forgot to mention here, this is blocked out because I haven't shown you our March 2022 budget report. So the beginning balance and ending balance obviously don't apply yet because the month isn't finished. So stay tuned for that video to get those balances. And then also I get asked, I feel like every time, but the way that I have our sinking fund structured is I keep the total of all of our sinking funds in one bank account, and then I use my spreadsheet here to know how much is in each fund. And so I don't have a specific account for each line item here. And I know that some people do, and that's totally fine. Personal finance is personal and do what works best for you. But that's just not how we have it structured, in case anyone was wondering. Okay, next we have is gifts. We put $50 a month into gifts to cover things like birthdays or Mother's Day is coming up, or Father's Day, like holiday kinds of gifts. We also have a lot of people in our family with spring birthdays, so we're getting into that season. So $50 a month goes to gifts. The next line item we have is clothing, and this is an amount that we have actually brought down for the month because, like I said, we are just trying to aggressively get this emergency fund done. And the thing that's been standing in our way is how much we've been putting towards other sinking funds. And at the end of the day, the sinking funds is still like cash that we have on hand. If it were an emergency, we have the cash in these other sinking funds as well that we could pull on. We could be like, okay, well, we're not going to take vacation this year then, because we need to cover this emergency or, something like that. But we just want to like get this emergency fund fully done. So that's why we're kind of pulling back on other sinking funds of like, what do we need right now and what don't we need, and focus more on those needs to be able to get the emergency fund done. So clothing went down to 25. It used to be up at 50. This is clothing for Jacob and myself. For me, I'm pregnant. I don't plan to buy any sort of clothing for a bit because I'm just wearing all the maternity stuff for a while. Jacob doesn't need any new clothes either. He works from home. It's pretty casual. So we're good on that end. So we lowered this down to 25. Next week was vacation. We used to be putting 150 into this sinking fund, and we recently went on a trip in March to Arizona. Went to Phoenix and we had a great time. And we have one more trip coming up to go to Southern California, and we're going to go to Disneyland for a few days. But as of right now, everything is covered for that trip besides like food and souvenirs. So we have our hotel, our airfare, our Disney tickets all paid for and covered, and we just need to like cover the food. So what we have right now in our vacation fund should be plenty to cover that trip. And because we are having a baby soon, we're not planning on going on vacation anytime soon. So I think that for now, we're just going to stop putting money to vacation because we don't have anything coming up. And again, the emergency fund finishing is more important to us right now than vacation. So we're just taking that out. We're going to go to Disney and we'll cover the costs with the remainder that we have in our vacation fund, which should be plenty. Next we have is Christmas, and this is kind of along the same lines. We had been saving $100 each month into our Christmas fund, but we now have $300 in it because we just did 3 months of it. But we also actually use our credit card rewards points to be able to save for Christmas. So we have a credit card that gives us 1.5% cash back. We use credit cards responsibly, pay them off in full every month. I've never paid a dime in interest and just utilize the benefits that come with credit cards. So this credit card we typically use, we cash out our rewards benefit at the end of the year to cover all of our Christmas gifts. And we already have $300 saved in this sinking fund. And then I anticipate us having close to almost $1,000 in credit card rewards to go towards Christmas at the end of the year. So honestly, we're going to be covered for Christmas. So we stopped putting into Christmas, and I don't think we should need to for the rest of the year. Maybe we'll have to reevaluate as we get closer to Christmas, but for right now, we're going to pause that and then again, just put more money towards the emergency fund right now. Next we have is medical. This is a really big one that's obviously taking away a lot of money that could be going to our emergency fund, but I am having a baby this year and we are on a high deductible health plan. We're planning to probably hit the family max out of pocket this year because of that. We have an HSA, a health savings account, which you can pair with a high deductible health plan. But we love the HSA. It has a triple tax advantage where you put money into the HSA before taxes. You can then actually invest inside your HSA and it can grow tax-free, and you can take that money out tax-free to be spent on qualified medical expenses. So that's like the full use of the triple tax advantage that the HSA has to offer, and we want to utilize that fully. So we're actually planning to pay for all of our medical expenses out of pocket and then treat our HSA like another investment vehicle, all while still tracking all of our medical expenses that we are spending on throughout the year and keeping receipts and backup and everything like that. So we're putting $930 a month into this fund between January through I think July to be able to cover how much we'd spend on a max out of pocket for our family insurance plan. So $930 is what we need to keep doing to be able to cover all of that, and then we'll have labor and delivery all taken care of and other medical things coming up throughout the year by the time that I have this baby. Next we have is cord blood registry. We did cord blood banking with our first son, and it has an annual fee, and this is a great way to use the sinking fund. Instead of the annual fee sneaking up on you and being like a big cost for 1 month, you can spread it out over 12 months. So that's how I have that done, $31. Next we have is dues and subs. This covers other subscriptions and annual fees that may come up. So $37.50 is what we put into that for things like our Costco membership, our card registration, like those kinds of things. Next we have is car maintenance at $75 each month because we do have to do some maintenance and care in our cars. And then $400 each month goes into our house maintenance because we are homeowners and responsible to take care of the things that may break or need fixing in our home. Next we have is household. This is $100 a month that goes towards things like paper towels, toilet paper, soap, detergent, like all those kinds of like things that we need to just run our household. And then we have $100 that goes into the baby fund. This is simply for our son Peter, like all the things that he may need for the month, things like diapers, wipes, toys, clothing, like all those things that we'd have to buy because we have a child goes into this fund. Then we have baby number 2, and this is just what we are saving to cover all the costs related to having this second baby. Now, because I am having another boy, I think that we're actually saving a lot of money on the deal because there aren't a lot of things that I need. I actually was just getting out the clothing bin for Peter that I've saved that I will now use for the next baby. And so we don't need to buy like clothing. His nursery is already done because I'm just having another boy. So we just have a list of like a few other things that we'll need to get for this new baby. And we've actually bought a lot of those things already, but we've been saving money in this since January, and we'll save this until the baby is due. And that way we'll be able to cover all of the expenses and things that we're planning to buy for this baby second time around. So $285 each month is what we are saving for him. I did a video talking about how much we're spending on baby number 2. If you want to check out that video, I'll have a link to that up above. So all in all the money that we are putting towards savings or sinking funds is $3,161.58. So our total out is $8,085.41. But here you can see this cell calculates the difference. This difference should be 0, which is taking the difference between our income less all the money that went out. And that is $5.41 difference because I updated something in real time with you guys. So I'm actually going to fix that right now. I'm going to just put that to the emergency fund because that's where we're just putting every extra penny that we have or don't have. So $722.67 instead will go to the emergency fund. And now we have a 0 balance, which makes this a zero-based budget. So that is our budget and our plan for April. And hopefully going forward, we can continue to increase that emergency savings and reach that goal soon, as we just want to be more prepared and more secure and just feel more like at ease about this time of uncertainty. And we are still investing during this time. Like I said, I don't have a crystal ball, but we are still putting into Jacob's 401k a certain percentage that we have set, and we're continuing to do that. I'm not timing the market, doing anything like that. We're just continuing on and just want to beef up our emergency reserves on this side. So that is our plan. Let me know in the comments below how your April is planning to go with your budget. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.
Life is a winding road.